Hi students, in this video I'm going to give a quick tutorial on how to use the basics of SurveyMonkey in case you decide that you want to use some online surveys, allow students the option of completing your survey online. SurveyMonkey is a great tool. It's free, it's pretty easy to use, and it allows you just to give out a link and people can just click on that link and take your survey and you can collect all the information of what their answers were. It's a really useful tool and it's free. I highly recommend it if you decide that you would like to go beyond just doing the paper surveys the old-fashioned way and you want to use some digital surveys as well. SurveyMonkey is a great tool. No, I don't make any money from them either. All right, so if you're going to do that, I would go to the just surveymonkey.com. You'll click sign up for free. It'll take you to a page where you'll fill out a username and a password. Good idea for your group to get on the same page and use one that you all know have access to. That way you can all access the information. So just if you create it for your group, make sure you share that information with the other members of your group. I'm going to click here now because I already have an account that I've used with the English Lab before to show you what it looks like. So basically all the surveys that you've used, you'll probably just have one, will show up here under My Surveys. If you're ready to create a new survey, which is probably what you'll be doing, you'll just go here to Create Survey. And with SurveyMonkey, you have a couple options. You can copy an existing survey that you've already done if it's not your first one. Obviously, this is probably going to be your first one, so you'll probably start from scratch. They do give you the option of starting from a template, but I think it's probably best to start one from scratch. I think it's probably best to design one on paper just as a group and then just translate that paper survey into the SurveyMonkey, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to give it the title Project 2 just for practice. And then it allows you to select a category. I would choose education just because that's what we're talking about, right? Education. You click Let's Go. And it'll take a second and it'll load this page. And basically what you do from here is you add your questions in and they give you different options of the kind of questions that you use. You'll probably decide on the kinds of questions you want to use before you even go to SurveyMonkey. You guys will probably design it on paper first as a group, but whichever way you do it, they give you nice a variety of options for what kind of questions you want to ask. So the most straightforward one is multiple choice. And the nice thing is this little pop-up screen comes up here that allows you to get a few examples of what they mean by this kind. What is a multiple choice? They explain it here and then they give you a couple examples of the kind you can do. So multiple choice just means you ask a question and you give people a set variety of choices that they can choose from. And you also have the option of putting other in there and allowing people to fill out their own choice that's not offered in your multiple choices. Another one is drop down, and a drop down it does like this, so you get a little drop down menu and you choose one. I think multiple choice drop down ranking you might want to use where you say what's most important and they rank a few different things. Single text box is another one. If you want to go so far, it's a little more complicated to gather the data if you do this, not as straightforward as multiple choice, but you do have the option of either on paper or in your SurveyMonkey digital survey, you have the option of doing a single text box where you ask a question and then you give the person who's taking your survey the opportunity to type in their own answers or handwrite their own answers. Once again, it's a little more complicated because there's no set answers to figure out, oh, 10% of people said this. It's going to be more open-ended, right? But you absolutely have the option of doing that. Multiple text boxes if you want to allow people to write more than one thing, like it shows here. I would think those are probably the most common ones. Probably the most common is multiple choice, and then I would say maybe you'll use drop-down, ranking, single text box. Those are probably the most common ones you'll use. So I'm going to show you how to do a multiple choice question. You just click add, and basically you're just adding your first question. If I click here, I'll just type in a question. I'm just going to use silly ones because I don't want to give any questions away, but I'll just put, what is your favorite color? You can see it's actually giving me some suggestions based on the fact that lots of people have made surveys before. Okay, and then I will enter the possible answers. You can say green, you can say red, blue, and then if you want to add even more answers in the 3 boxes here, you just click the little plus sign. It'll give you another box so you can put yellow or whatever else you'd want to. I do know how to spell yellow. And then you can click the box here if you want to allow people to choose more than one answer to the question. So if you want them to just be able to choose one answer, don't click that box. If you want, as part of your survey results, that they can choose more than one answer, you would click that box. And then if you want to allow people to have the option to put another answer, so maybe they want to say magenta or something like that, click the little box there. Pretty much you can use the default things here. They're just going to say, you know, how many characters do you want people to be able to put in this box, stuff like that. And then once you're done, you click save, and you will see your beautiful first question is here. Pretty straightforward. Similar thing goes for if you're doing a drop down. If you do the single text box, you just have to put in the question and it'll automatically put the box for you. What did I do? I'll do one drop down just to show real quick. So drop down's different because rather than listing all the choices and then the person either fills in a bubble or something like that, circles, puts a check mark, it offers a drop down menu. So in the same way, what is your favorite color? Oops. I'm just going to put 3 here just for the sake of time. Green, blue, and red. This time I'm going to not allow them to put other as an option. They have to choose one of those 3. I'll click save, and you can see it would look like this. What is your favorite color? Whoops, don't want to edit. Go back. And there would be a drop-down menu, and out of that drop-down menu, you would see there are 3 color choices that I gave. All right, so that's how that part goes. This is just the creating your survey. Don't go too crazy. Don't put like 100 questions. No one's going to want to take your survey that way. I would say be very aware of choosing the best possible questions rather than just throwing in a million of them. Be really careful and selective about your questions and make sure you're really getting the information that you want to get. So when I'm done filling out, putting all my questions in, I would click done, save. So my survey saved. If I go back to my surveys, now my project 2 survey is going to come up here. If I click on it, you can see obviously no responses yet, but there's a few things you need to know from here once you've designed your survey. You can also go in and change the colors and things like that. If you click edit design, or you can go to preview survey if you want to see what it would look like to someone else. You can see here, these are my options. I could click blue, the drop down menu. I could select red. When I was done, I'd click done. That's a nice thing that you can see what it would look like for someone else. Once again, this is just the summary. I just clicked on the survey and this is what it looks like. You also have the option of editing the colors and things like that if you're into that. But here's what I wanted to show you. I just was designing my survey. That's where you add or change questions. If I go to collect responses, that's where it'll allow me to get a link to share with other people. So if I click here, it's already filled out, and click next, it's going to give me this link. So now I have this link that if I give to anybody, they have access to my survey, they can take my survey. So I could post this link on Facebook, Twitter, whatever I wanted to use to get the word out about this survey, and then anyone could just click on the link and take my survey. And then once you've had people take your survey and you want to see what they actually said, you click here on Analyze Results. And obviously I don't have any yet, so it's not going to show up, but I'll show you on one of my other ones what it ends up looking like. So here's an old lab survey. Once again, I want to click on Analyze Results to see the results. And then it'll show me for each question what people said. How many said one selection, how many said the other. And it breaks it down here too. So 32 people said they attended the lab every week. 12 people said about 3/4 of the week, and so on. And it's even nice, it breaks down the percentages for you, which is nice, less math for you to have to do, right? So it's really nice also that they have these graphs. You can see visually very quickly what the most popular answer was. And you can see, I'll show you an example of an open-ended question as well. At the bottom of our survey, we have these open-ended questions where people could type in their own thoughts. It wasn't a multiple choice, it was just open-ended. And you can see all the different answers people gave here. So you get to see the specific answers that people provide to your open-ended questions as well. So once again, just to summarize, summary is where you can do things like change the colors, you can preview your survey, things like that. Design survey is where you go to add or change questions. Give it a second. Collect responses is where you go to get that link to know how to send it out to other people so they can take your survey. And analyze results is where you go to actually see the responses, what percentage of people replied each of the options that you gave them, and things like that. All right. I'd also be happy to help you in my office hours or any other time that you're available. So hopefully this video helps give you a brief overview of how SurveyMonkey works.